Hey guys, what is up? It is Dalton here, I'm Tyler, and welcome to our next segment of our video game collection videos. And today, we're going to be doing all of our Super Nintendo games. And that means all of our loose cartridges, all the boxed games, some special stuff like boxed pieces, like, you know, special equipment, stuff like that. So, without further ado, let's get started with it. And before, it's just gonna be like the NES, collection. I'm gonna show like the first half, and then Tyler will show the second half, and then I'll show the special things. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the games. Alright guys, so right before we get started here, I want to mention that there is 116 loose SNES cartridges here, and so I'll show the first 58, and then Tyler will show the other 58, and then we'll go on to the special stuff from there. So let's get started with it. Alright, first Super Nintendo game here is ABC Monday Night Football. Pretty cool. There's that one. Then we've got Arkanoid Do It Again. And what's really cool about this one is that when Games Ahoy first opened, me and Tyler would ride our bikes there almost every day during the summer when it first opened. And the owners and stuff, took a notice to that a lot. And there was one customer that was in there when we were there one day. We were there probably for like 2 hours. We loved spending a lot of time just in the store, just looking at all the cool stuff. Anyway, this one customer noticed us, playing some of the Super Nintendo games that they had hooked up at the time. They used to have Super Nintendo and NES and stuff hooked up on a TV, and me and Tyler would be sitting there playing games and stuff. And this one guy, this one customer noticed. He's like, "You guys like Super Nintendo and stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Have you tried this one before?" And I was like, "No." And he showed us this game. It was really cool. We played it for like a half hour there at the store. And the one guy thought it was really cool that we were playing older school stuff, especially when Tyler was, this was when Tyler was probably like 11 or 12 at the time. So this was a while ago. But this was really cool. He took it out of his own initiative to like take some of his in-store credit and buy this for us so we could take it home and play it. And I thought that was really, really cool because, not a whole lot of people are like that anymore. And he saw that and thought that was, cool that we liked the game. And so he bought this game for us, and it was really, really cool. So that was a really cool little story with that one. So that's cool. Next one here is Battle Clash. Very cool. Then we've got B.O.B. or Bob. Then we've got Boxing Legends of the Ring. Very cool. Then we've got Brunswick World Tournament of Champions Bowling. Very cool. Then we've got Bulls vs. Blazers and the NBA Playoffs. Another cool basketball game. That's awesome. Then we've got Bust-A-Move. Very nice. Capcom's MVP Football. And again, you'll notice, guys, a lot of my labels are really nice. I try to get the best looking games that I can. Some of them might be messed up. But that's just how it happens when I pick them up, and then usually I try to see if I can find a replacement, upgrade copy for it. But I don't keep the dust covers on these because they won't sit on the shelf without like leaning and stuff, so it looks kind of ugly. So I have to leave the dust covers up for these ones. But I do have a bunch of the dust covers for these. But anyways, next one here is Championship Pool. Very cool. All right, so there's that for the first stack. Next stack here. Alright, Champions World Class Soccer. Cool. There's that one. We've got Cliffhanger. That one's worth a little bit more on a NES, of course, because usually when a game, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time when a game had a counterpart on the older console, it was worth a little more. So, anyways, next one here is College Slam. It's pretty much like NBA Jam, just with college teams. That's pretty cool. Then I just recently picked this one up, and Tyler was with me. It was, pretty cool. Dirt Tracks FX, really, really cool. It's kind of like a Star Fox logo. It's got like that rendering software style. It's pretty cool. You got Disney's Aladdin. Very nice. That's one of the first ones I remember picking up when I first got, started getting into games again and stuff. So that's cool. You got Disney's Goof Troop. Very cool. And you got Disney's The Jungle Book. Picked that one up not too long ago as well. And you got Disney's Timon and Pumbaa's Jungle Games. Basically, just, you know, Timon and Pumbaa from The Lion King stuff, which is pretty cool. Then you got Doom. Really, really cool game. I love this one. Very fun shooter. That's pretty cool. And then the last one for this stack, one of my personal favorites, one of my most nostalgic games. This is, you know, the most memorable one for me. And you know, it's pretty cliche for most people probably, but I don't really care. This is such a good game. I love this one, and that is Donkey Kong Country. Very, very cool game. I love that one so much. Played that a lot when I was a kid. Alright, so there's that stack. And we're going to get into the next one here. Alright, and then of course if you have Donkey Kong 1, you have to have Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest, and that one is in good shape as well. And that's a really fun one as well. That's one that I need to finish yet. I started playing and stuff, I never got to beat it, so I feel bad because I, you know, kind of just dropped it. I'd love to get back into that one. And then, of course, if you have 1 and 2, you have to have 3. So you got Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. This one I never really fully played a lot at all, but I'd love to. That one seems a lot of fun too, so that'd be cool to get into. Next one here is Double Dragon 5, The Shadow Falls. Very cool. Then we've got Family Feud. We got Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Frogger, Hole-in-One Golf. Just recently picked this one up from a garage sale not too long ago for $1, which you can't really pass up for. Or no, it wasn't even $1. I think it was 50 cents. When any Super Nintendo game for 50 cents, you cannot pass that up. No matter, you know, how cheap the game really is, it's still a Super Nintendo game. Next one here is Home Alone. Very cool. Then I also have Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. So those go together, that's pretty cool. Then I've got International Tennis Tour. Very cool. So there's that stack. Alrighty, and next one here. Jeopardy. John Madden Football 93. John Madden Football, just the regular one. Then we've got Kablooey. Very cool. This one's really fun as well, and I remember picking this one off of Craigslist for like $3. It was a random price, but for $3 I was really excited. That was back when Craigslist had good stuff. Now everyone's just trying to make as much as they can on it. It sucks, but anyway, that is Killer Instinct. Really, really cool. Really glad to have that one. That was pretty fun. Then I remember getting this at our indoor flea market back when I first started getting games again and everything for the first time since like I was like 3 or 4 years old. You know, this was when I started collecting games and stuff. But this one was like $5, I think. I can't remember exactly. It's been so long. It's probably been at least. Well, this was back in like 2010, so 6 years. But anyway, Kirby's Avalanche. Really, really cool. It's a nice little puzzle game. That's pretty fun. Then we've got Kirby's Dream Course. Also really cool. That one's a fun one as well. Then we've got Lemmings. This one's funny. This one was reviewed by AVGN. That's why I wanted to pick this one up, because it was a funny game for him to review. So I decided to just get it when I saw it at Games Ahoy. That is Lester the Unlikely. Terrible game, but it's, you know, it's a game to have, so why not? Then we got Madden NFL 95. Alright, so that's it for that stack. Next one here we've got Mario is Missing. Also not another pretty terrible game, but still it's a Mario game and it's a Super Nintendo game, so it goes in the collection. Then we've got Mario Paint, just the cart there. This one was really fun. I remember playing this a lot when I first got it, and that was really, really cool. It's a fun one. That is Michael Jordan Chaos in the Windy City. Very, very fun game. It's a side-scroller. It's way better than Shaq Fu. Shaq Fu really sucks, but Chaos in the Windy City with Michael Jordan, that's actually pretty fun. It doesn't have to do with literally just basketball. It's actually more of a side-scroller, you know, trying to get through the levels kind of game. That's really cool. Next we have Mortal Kombat 3. Then we've got NBA Jam and NBA Jam Tournament Edition, both carts there. Very, very cool. These are both, pretty much the same thing. They're just, a little bit different modes on this one, but they're both pretty much the same. This, the regular NBA Jam I grew up with when I was younger too, and that was a really fun game. I remember playing a lot. So definitely very, very fun games, especially if you love basketball like I do. Next we got NBA Live 95. Very cool. Then we've got NBA Showdown. Very, very cool. NCAA Football. And then NCAA Basketball. Alright, and that's that for that stack. Then I've got one more stack, and then it's Tyler's turn. Alrighty. Next one here is NFL Quarterback Club. Very, very cool. NHLPA Hockey. NHL 94. NHL 97. If you find NHL 98, it's actually got some value on Super Nintendo, because that is really late for a Super Nintendo. I think it's like a $15, $20 cartridge, which is pretty crazy for a sports title. But if you can find that, definitely pick it up. NHL Stanley Cup. Very, very cool. Nigel Mansell's World Championship. Very cool. Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures. And then the last one for me to show here is Paperboy 2. So those are the ones that I'm going to show. That's my half that I'm showing, and then Tyler will go ahead and show the other half. Alright guys, now it is Tyler's turn to show the Super Nintendo games. And if you guys saw the NES game collection video, what we'll do is, for space's sake and for me inconvenience, I'm stacking all the games on my side on the floor, and I'll hand him each one, he'll show it, and then we'll go from there. It's just a little bit easier for us to flow through them. So anyways, we're going to get started now.
We got Pinball Fantasies, Pitfall and Mayan Adventure, Radical Psycho Machine Racing, Riddick Bowie Boxing,
Riddick Bowie.
Bowie.
Yeah, there you go.
Road Riot, Shaq Fu.
That's probably one of the ugliest games I have in the collection, just because it's not worth anything. It's one of the most terrible games on the console. For some reason, I've not come across another copy of it. I'm not going to put out a whole lot of money for it, so whatever.
Side Pocket, SimCity 2000, Skiing and Snowboarding, Tommy Moe's Winter Extreme.
Pretty long title.
Yeah, you can see it's pretty small.
Yeah, the whole thing goes across the top.
Spider-Man Venom Maximum Carnage.
I think that's the only other red cart there is on Super Nintendo. I believe there's only two. Don't quote me on that, but I think there's only 2 red Super Nintendo games. But anyway, there's the first stack there. Alright. Next stack here.
Star Fox.
Very cool.
Street Combat. Street Fighter 2. Super Battle Tank 2. Super Battleship.
And those are backwards, I believe. See, like I'm saying, there's a couple in here that, for, like I said in my last video, some games might be out of order, but it's not like it's too big a deal. They're as close as I can get them.
Super Battle Tank War in the Gulf. Here's a pretty good one. Super Bomberman. Super Bowling.
That one I used to play a lot as a kid too. I remember that one, not as much as like NBA Jam and stuff, but I would play that one a lot too, which is really cool. Pretty fun game if you like, you know, quirky little bowling games and stuff.
Super Mario All-Stars.
This one's pretty hard to come by.
Yeah, Super Mario All-Stars and Super Mario World dual cart. So that's really cool.
That's, I think, really late. That was like one of the last, you know, sets that they made for Super Nintendo before they moved on to 64 and stuff. So that was really cool. Alright, so there's that stack. Alright. Next one here.
Super Mario Kart. Great game.
Yeah, a really fun one. That's where it started.
Yeah. Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars.
And when we got that one, it came with this really cool custom case. It's basically just like the box. It's got the same features and everything that the original cardboard box would have. It's just a little bit, you know, designed differently to fit the box, you know, this case here. But really, really cool. Opens like a rental case, really. I have the dust sleeve in there for the game. So we've been playing that one recently, and it's really, really fun. If you guys have not played that, you know, Mario RPG, it's really, really cool. I love that game. So definitely check that one out, guys, if you can get a hand on it, because it's pretty pricey, but it's a really fun one. It's really worth it.
Super Mario World. Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island.
Also a really fun one. That one I need to finish too. I never finished it. I started it and then I dropped it, and I would really love to get back into that one.
There's a great story about this one. That's Super Metroid. If you want me to say.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. This was pretty far, a long time ago.
This was like 2010.
Right. Yeah. We were at a pawn shop, and Dalton was like, just like, okay, you know, like he was looking at the games and he was like, I don't really see anything here, and I was like, well, this game right here is really, really good. And I was like, you need to pick this up. I said at the time it was like a $35, $40 game. He had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't know. I wasn't familiar with prices of games at the time. Somehow Tyler knew about it because he had been watching people on YouTube and stuff about games and stuff. And yeah, I looked at the game and I had no idea what it was. I was like, okay, whatever. But he wasn't lying when we decided to pick it up. I bought it. It was $8, which is incredible. It was a really random price, $8 for a game. I don't know where they came up with that. But when we got home, Tyler looked it up and showed me, and I was like, wow, how was I that stupid to not realize and everything? But, you know, when you start, you don't really know everything, and, you know, you learn as you go. So that, looking back on that story, I'm really glad I picked that up because, you know, without Tyler, I wouldn't have picked that up, and I would have really missed out on a great game because I have not seen it once since. So, very cool.
Super NES Super Scope 6.
Very cool. That's basically just for the Super Nintendo Zapper Bazooka.
Super Off-Road. And you go with that is Super Off-Road the Baja. Super Putty.
And the last one for this stack here.
Super Star Wars.
I remember my friend Cameron had that one when we were growing up, and I remember playing that a lot with him. I remember when you died, Yoda would show up, and I don't remember what he said, but like he would show up when you died and, like, you know, give you like advice or something on how to, you know, do better next time or something. I remember that, and it was a really fun game. I love that one. So another cool little childhood story with that one. Alright, so there's that stack. Alright, next stack here.
Suzuka 8 Hours.
Just motorbike racing, which is pretty cool.
Tecmo Super NBA Basketball.
Another cool basketball game.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters.
Really, really cool. That's a lot of money on NES. If you guys find that, I have yet to find that one, but that'd be cool to find that on NES.
Tetris 2.
And this next one's the only game in my loose cart collection that is a player's choice.
That is Tetris and Dr. Mario.
I try to stay away from player's choice games, but since I saw that and it was a good deal at Goodwill when I got it, I couldn't leave it behind, so I decided to pick it up. But I'll eventually come across a regular label of it, so, but for now at least I have it, so that's cool.
Tetris Attack. Pugsley's Scavenger Hunt.
The Addams Family. It just doesn't say the Addams Family on the top, that's why it's kind of weird.
The Chessmaster.
And the last one for this stack.
The Lawnmower Man.
Kind of weird game.
Yeah.
I've never really heard of that one growing up or anything, and it's got that really weird, label on the front. I'm not too sure what it's about. I haven't really played it, so I couldn't tell you. I just know it's kind of weird. It's one of those oddball games. Alright, next stack here.
Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Recently just picked that one up, so that's pretty cool. It will need an upgrade. It's got some, it looks like someone stepped on it. It's got a big crack on the back half and everything, but, well, I did switch out the back, but it's still missing one of the prongs and everything here, but I'll eventually upgrade that because, it'll need it. But anyways, at least I have it for now.
Tiny Toon Adventures Buster Bust Loose. Tom and Jerry. Toy Story.
That one's pretty hard, by the way. Toy Story on the Super Nintendo is pretty hard to play, but it's still fun.
Toys.
That's based on the Robin Williams movie, which is pretty cool.
Troy
Aikman.
Football.
Yeah, his name's hard to pronounce, but, once you look at it, you're like, oh, Aikman with a silent A, pretty much. That's pretty cool.
Tough Enough.
It's like, hey punk, are you tough enough? It's just tough enough, is what I call it. But, one of those weird Jalico titles. But anyway, there's that one. This one is really fun. I remember my friend Cameron having this one as well. We played this one for hours.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time.
Which is really, really fun game. It's expensive. It's gone way up now, guys, but if you can get your hands on this one is definitely one to play, because it's, got so much, cool elements to it. It's so fun.
Ultraman.
And the last one for this stack.
Vegas Stakes.
Alright, so that'll do it for that stack, and then we got one more stack, and then that'll be it for all the loose carts that are in the collection.
Vortex. Warlock. Wario's Woods. We're Back, A Dinosaur Story. Wheel of Fortune. Wordtris.
It's basically just Tetris with words, and it's kind of like, what do they call it, like Words with Friends. It's kind of, I think it's kind of like that. It's kind of like, you gotta match words up in letters and stuff to make a full row and everything. It's more challenging, if you will, than Tetris.
WWF, Royal Rumble.
The last one there, sorry.
WWF, Super WrestleMania.
And that is it for all the loose carts there. So, anyways, like I said, there's 116 loose Super Nintendo cartridges there. And then next we'll go ahead and get into the just the little extras and the box games and stuff like that. So we'll get into that. Alright guys, now we're going to get into the bonus items and the boxed Super Nintendo games, stuff like that. But before we get into the boxed Super Nintendo games, I'm going to show 3 loose carts here, and I'll give you a reason why I have them. The first one here is Donkey Kong Country. Very nice shape. It's got a dust sleeve on it. All 3 of these do. There's that one. Then we've got Super Mario World. And then the last one here is Super NES Super Scope 6. Alright, so the reason I have those 3 is because I'm holding on to, well, the Super Scope game. I have a, the Super Scope Zapper, the bazooka, and so I wanted to keep a separate game cartridge just to have with that. In case I ever get a box or whatever for that, I can have a complete set there. And then I also have a Super Scope game for the shelf, so I have 2 copies of that. So, and the Super Mario World and the Donkey Kong Country, I know they made Super Nintendo boxed console sets with those games. So in the future, if I ever get a console set like that and it doesn't have the game cartridge, I already have it, so I can just plop it in there real quick, and I have a pretty much complete set if it comes to that. But if I get a box console set like that and it already has a game, I'll just keep the better of the 2 cartridges and sell the other one off. But for now, it's good to have them just in case something like that will happen and I don't have a game with the console. So that's the reason for those. Alright, now we'll get in all the complete in box Super Nintendo games. And most of these are in very, very nice shape. And there's only one that has a box protector on it for now. That's the only one I had on me at the time. But I would love to get these all in box protectors, just like I do with my NES games. I want to do that for my NES games, my 64 games, the Game Boy games, stuff like that. But for now, they I don't move them around a whole lot, so they're pretty stationary, so they don't move around and get banged up a lot. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. First one here is Bubsy. Very, very nice shape. This one I got given to me for free. Me and Tyler got it given to us for free. Our grandfather has a really good friend by the name of Bud, and he had a really good passion with playing games with his daughter and stuff when she was growing up. And when she moved out of the house, she left all of her games and stuff in their house. So what Bud did was he boxed it all up and pretty much just put it in their basement, and he kind of really forgot about it, that he had any of it. And my grandpa had mentioned to him when I first started getting games again, he's like, yeah, my grandsons are looking for games and stuff. And Bud was like, oh, I might still have some of that stuff. So my grandfather gave me and Tyler Bud's phone number, and I called him one day and I asked him about it, and he said I might have a few things still. And so he said, come by this weekend, we can take a look at what I've got. And we went over there, and there was just a massive pile of games. And what baffled us the most was how mint everything is. Every single game that we got from him, pretty much almost every single game we got from him was boxed complete like this. He had NES, Super Nintendo, 64, and he had each console. The 64 was complete in box. The other 2 consoles weren't, unfortunately, but everything is in mint condition. They took such good care of their stuff. It was incredible. So that kind of ties along in the story with this game, and I'll show some more. Obviously, most of these were that, given to us. I think, I'm looking at them, I'm saying obviously for myself because I can just look at them and I'm remembering which ones I got, given to us. So, anyways, I'll go ahead and, tie this story in as the games come along when I show them. But anyways, so there's Bubsy. I'm not going to open these. I don't want to mess up the flaps or anything any more than, because of how nice they already are. But these are complete in box. One of them I had to get the manual for because it was missing it, but it is 100% complete now. But I'm most certain, I'm 99% sure all these have every piece of literature and manual and everything, even the cartridge trays and everything. So anyway, next one here is Donkey Kong Country. That is the one I needed the manual for, but I finally completed it, and it's perfectly fine now, so that's very cool. I'm really happy to have completed that one. But that one came from Bud as well, so there you go. There's that one. Then of course we've got Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest, and that one also in very, very good shape, also from Bud. And then also from Bud we got Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. And this one's got a little bit of damage to the end label, or the end box here. It's a little bit, creased here, but I'm not too concerned. And again, for those of you saying, well, you don't collect, Player's Choice or anything, for box games, that doesn't matter to me. If it's a box game and it's a Player's Choice game, I really don't care. It's a box game. It's really hard to come by, a box game like this. So, plus it was given to me. I can't really just turn up a free game like that. That's ridiculous. But yeah, since it's Player's Choice, it really doesn't bother me since it's boxed. But if it was a loose cart, I would have to, swap it out. But since it's boxed, it's fine. Alright, the next one here is Lemmings 2, Tribes, also from Bud. Like I said, he took very good care, him and his daughter took very good care of their games, and I love how they kept all the original packaging for most of their games. So there's that one. Then we've got Super Mario All-Stars, also from Bud. Again, very, very nice shape. Hardly any creases or, any crushing at all. I mean, it's really, really cool. Just how he had these in a box, too, they were kind of just tossed in there. They weren't, like, neatly stacked or anything either. They were just kind of sitting in there. So that's what kind of caught me by surprise at how good these games are still, condition-wise. The next one here, this is the one that has the clear case on it, and that is Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. Again, another Bud game. And this one is, you know, pretty much the same condition as Mario All-Stars. It's got, you know, one crease here and there, but I mean, other than that, it's in really, really good shape. But I would like to get clear cases like that for every single one of my box games. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. Alright, the next one here, this one I got from Goodwill, and I believe it was $2. They had it stacked with the VHS tapes because obviously, you know, Super Nintendo games and stuff, they look like a VHS tape in a box, so that was a common mistake by them. But anyway, that is the Chess Master. Again, pretty good box, you know, not too bad. It's got a little bit of creasing here and, you know, some crushing, but it's not bad. I mean, it's complete, so I thought that was really cool from a Goodwill, so there's that one. Then another Bud game. Most of these are Bud games. But anyways, there is Vegas Stakes. Again, very nice shape. A little bit of crushing, but not too bad. So very, very cool. Alright, and then we've got Yoshi's Safari. Another Bud game. Very, very good shape. This one uses the Super Scope, which is pretty cool. I played it once, and I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. But it's, you know, one of those games I want to get a loose cart for. I don't want to have to keep pulling the game out of the box every time I want to play it. So, but anyways, there's that one. Very, very cool. There's another couple of honorable mentions. I did not get them out because they were pretty much buried, and since how the room is right now with all the stuff laying out, because we're rearranging and stuff, I couldn't get them out. But I know there's one boxed one that I didn't have laying out on the shelf, and that was Hole-in-One Golf, which also came from Bud Barnett. Again, in good shape, the same condition as most of these, but I didn't get to pulling it out because it's pretty much buried, and I didn't have room to put it on the shelf, so that was one of the ones I did not have pulled out, but that one was complete as well. So if you can pretty much picture what Hole-in-One Golf looks like, and in the condition of what most of these look like, that's pretty much the condition it's in. And again, all these cartridges in these boxes are like mint condition, like played maybe, I mean, I know they were played a lot, but they seem like they were only played like a handful of times. So that's how good they kept their stuff. That was really cool. So, alright, that's all the boxed games, like, you know, just regular size box games. Then we got one big box here, which is really, really cool, and that is Mario Paint. Now this I got from our local indoor flea market, and I believe the guy that was selling it had $15 on it, which is incredible. This is like a $35, $40 set, complete in the box, I believe. So that was really, really cool for him to, you know, have a price like that on it. But of course, this was like 3 years ago, so that, you know, the market changes all the time for games. But I thought that was really cool to see a complete in-box Mario Paint. It's got the pad, it's got the mouse, it's got the game cartridge, it's got all the booklets and the manuals and, you know, inserts, everything like that. It's got everything in there, so I thought that was really, really cool. So, not bad to have that in the collection. I really thought that was cool. It does take up quite a bit of space because it is bigger. But it's one of those unique pieces that you don't see every day, especially complete in the box like that. So very, very cool. Alright, now we're going to move into the few little special items that I have here. First thing here is I got two Super Game Boys. Both have those cartridge dust sleeves on them. These are really cool. You know, if you want to play like Game Boy Color on your Super Nintendo, these are really cool to do that. These run about $15-20 depending on who you buy them from and what condition they're in and all that kind of stuff. But if you're lucky, you might be able to find one for a couple bucks somewhere. They're not too hard to find, as I got two here. I mean, this took me a couple years to find both, but I mean, they pop up around every once in a while, so they're not too bad to find. But very, very cool little piece to have in the collection if you like playing your, you know, handhelds on home consoles. So I thought that was really cool to get a couple of them. I used to have more than that, but I sold them off because there's no reason to have more than a couple. I mean, it just kind of gets ridiculous. But very cool. And then the last piece here is I have a Super Game Genie. And it came with, well, over time I added these to it, but it has a bunch of the code books. There's different versions of the code book here, all for different games and updates and stuff like that. Because, you know, back then you couldn't update like on the internet you can today. You can just retype something. They had to release the whole book again just to make some, you know, fixed errors and stuff like that. So, very, very cool. I only have one Game Genie for the Super Nintendo, but as you can see I have a bunch of the booklets and everything. Very, very cool. It's a little bit harder to find than the NES one. It's a little more expensive just because it's probably a little more desirable to play cheats on Super Nintendo games. But it's very, very cool once you know, hook it up and play some cheats on some Super Nintendo games and stuff. The books, you know, are very helpful in getting to do the codes. I mean, you could just look up the codes on the internet and print out a sheet or two or whatever you want to do. But I like the authentic feel of having the actual books too, because it kind of complements the collection a little better. So, anyways, there is the Super Game Genie. And that will conclude all of the Super Nintendo loose cartridges, box cartridges, and all the special stuff. So that'll conclude the Super Nintendo game collection. Alright guys, that is going to conclude all of the Super Nintendo game collection. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing, telling your friends. It really helps us out. Stay tuned for the next video, as it'll be put up you know, following this one, and it'll be all of our N64 games, loose carts, box games, you know, special items, stuff like that. So stay tuned for that one. Anyways, thanks you guys a lot. Happy gaming as always, and we'll see you next time. See you later, guys.
Bye, guys.